Hey YouTube, so I've noticed that a lot of people are starting to watch and subscribe to my channel and videos, so I think we're gonna amp this channel up a little bit because it seems like a lot of different people can relate. I've had different people reach out to me and it's great. Like, that was the whole purpose of me creating this to begin with. And over time I'll discuss how, even my scenario's changed and what I'm doing is changing. Because of, different circumstances, and try, and you fail at something, you're going to try a different route, right? So, I've gotten a lot of different questions about going from an RN to an MD. There's so many different routes you can take. I'm not going to sit here and say that I am the expert on that, but there are some things that I've found in my own research. So, like I've said before, I currently hold an RN license in New York State. My history is as a medical surgical nurse, working with a variety of patients, including orthopedic, post-op, stuff like that, and in the ER for 2.5 years, a little more than that. I believe that, yeah. So, I currently hold BLS, ACLS, PALS certifications, just to kind of throw that out there, and some other different things that I've done. So I was working towards getting my CEN, Certified Emergency Nurse certification. So I only have an associate's. My plan initially was to, at some point, go from my associates in nursing, so an associates in applied science for nursing, and then jump over to biology. So I've learned this, and this I'm sure varies state to state, place to place, university to university, with their different requirements. But first I tried to do a BSN online. It was just too much to juggle, so I stopped that. This was a while back. And then I had attempted, because my passion is really for medicine and biology and the science, and I love nursing, but if I could just find ways to incorporate that more, I would love to be a doctor, surgeon, all those things. That's what excites me. So I had found a way to get a biology degree online, and it was like the most amazing experience. But again, it was too much for me to juggle at the time, and come to find out, in the little research I did after, I should have done my homework a bit more prior, because the university that I would have liked to apply for medical school to, they didn't accept online biology degrees, which I understand. So it really has changed a lot of my thoughts as far as my own course of action, but end goal still the same, always the same, and I will share with you over time what I myself am doing. So there's some different things you could do. You could go, in my own experience and what I've learned and what I've been told in my own research, you could go from, if you say you're a nursing student or you're an RN right now, or even beyond that, whatever it may be. Say you are an RN, and you have an associate's. You can go from your associate's to a BSN, so a bachelor's in nursing, and then work your way up to an NP, and then after NP you can kind of bridge over and then go to med school. That's one route. That is longer, but at the same time you are kind of climbing the ladder and you're getting that experience, still within the nursing field as well. And there's a lot of different pros and cons, and it depends on, different life circumstances and what you want. But that's one way, because you're getting clinical experience as an RN, BSN, and then as a nurse practitioner, you're learning, essentially you're kind of learning the ropes, but on the NP side of things. And in a lot of different places they can practice independently. I don't know state to state how that works, but anyways, and make a very decent living. And then, when the time comes and, you have all your ducks in a row, then look at med school. Or there's a bunch of different options. Say you're an RN and you want to jump over to med school. So medical schools, and I'm not going to say that I am the expert, but this is what I have found in my own research. From what I've read on various different sites and places people I've talked to, they're not necessarily looking for just a biology degree or biochem major. They like to see a non-traditional student, because so many people are just doing the same thing over and over. And like I said, I'm not going to sit here and say that I'm the expert, but I have done a little bit of homework on this stuff. So having a nursing degree is not going to make you, it's not going to make you considered less of an applicant versus someone who has another type of degree. I mean, people can even get a bachelor's degree in culinary arts or anything that you do really well and that you're really passionate about. Just, you have to understand that there's a lot of different prerequisites required as far as getting into med school as well. So you may have to take additional classes depending on what route you go. So we won't call it failed, but I've learned my own lessons as far as how it's not going to work for my circumstances in life as far as getting there. And again, I will share things with you in the coming videos, but I did want to talk about that. Now, they also really like to see clinical experience, clinical hours. You could also go a different route if you wanted to go to PA school. There are RNs who actually skip over and decide to go be a PA. So you can get a bachelor's and then apply to PA school as well. I didn't know that for quite a while. So keeping your GPA up as much as you can it's important. Clinical experience, volunteer time, letters of recommendations, having good references, a lot of different things. And I'm not going to sit here and say know everything, and there's a lot more to be discussed as far as that topic that I'm not going to dive into, but this is just different things that I've discovered. So currently, I'm trying to reevaluate my own circumstances, personally, my passion has always been surgery, and I love emergency medicine and critical care, and I just fit. I think that people who have a tendency to gravitate towards adrenaline rush type things, they kind of fit well in an emergency setting or critical care, stuff like that, because you have to be responding quickly. I've learned a lot of different things in New York State, such as, there is a cap on how much you can take out for student loans, financial aid, different things, but there's tons of different scholarships, grants, different programs out there available to students, even non-traditional students as well. And if you were looking to pursue an RN to BSN degree first, if you wanted to start, that path, you can do a lot of that. There's different programs where they offer that online, and that's getting, your foot in the door. Going from an RN to BSN, in my experience and what I've seen here, the pay is not going to change much, but it does open up different job opportunities, and it's much better to have. It kind of completes that education. So I'd like to talk about a couple other things. So I lost my train of thought there. Whew. Anyways, late at night, getting back on track here. Some of the things that I have found really helpful, because I personally will always have, a seemingly very busy life in a sense, and I've developed my own strategies as far as how to be successful and plow through things when I really need to and I really don't want to. I've talked a lot in the past about motivational speakers. That is one of my number one go-tos. I have these headphones. I'm going to show you them right now. Alright, ready, back. And I think they are the best for studying, for when you're trying to get stuff done as far as like college or different things you gotta do. Anyways, I can't get into product advertising, I don't believe, on YouTube, but I'm telling you, find yourself a nice pair of Bluetooth headphones, you're good to go. So some of the motivational speakers that I think are like phenomenal, that I just would listen to them all day if I could. If you're not opposed to the vulgar language, or you know, maybe if you need to listen to it when your kids go to bed, whatever, David Goggins is amazing. He has got an amazing life story. I've talked several people into loving this guy, and to the point where I even started reading some of his books because he's just so incredible. So when you start to look at other people's success stories, personally I find it to be extremely motivating, and it drives me. Like, this person's been through this and they've accomplished all this, so yes, I can do it. Because there's going to be a lot of days where you just feel like it's too much. It is way too much. I personally have felt that way a lot with college, but when you got a dream, you got to work real hard. So David Goggins, Tony Robbins, Will Smith is super awesome. If you go on YouTube and look this stuff up, some of the different things are like, one of the channels is like Mulligan Brothers, Motiversity. I'm trying to think who else. Gary V, again, can have some vulgar language, so you're going to have to find a way to filter that one out if you need to. But it's very, very helpful. And then to be able to study people who have already done what you're looking to do, I think is just extremely helpful across the board. And not to say that you have to do everything that they've done, but I've heard this from a lot of different people. Success leaves clues. So I look at a lot of these people who are entrepreneurs or really didn't have a chance at life, and they beat the statistics, and if they can do it, who's to say that, you know, your average Joe or not your average Joe or whoever can't. So remembering those things when it's hard, and remembering your why, as I would always say. I am a very visual person. I think that and my mom even thinks this is hilarious, but I have to-do lists all over the place, like a pile of them, and I call it my catch-all paper, where anything, you know, that I think I want to do, need to do, stuff like that, it all goes just right onto that paper. And then to be able to then look at it, prioritize your life, and then if you could come up with a couple things a day, some of your big priorities, it really starts to put things in perspective. And when you break it down, you're able to look at your accomplishments as far as getting where you want to go in, you know, the most efficient manner. And it's a work in progress for me, but I've been doing that one for a long time, and it is very helpful. So yeah, being able to reflect on your accomplishments every day, because one of my biggest fears all along has been, you know, what if I start this and I don't finish it? It seems like such a risk. Like, what if you fail, essentially? Then what, you know? You put all this money into student loans, and, you know, it seems often like a financial risk if you're trying to work and do all these other things, and if you have a family, but it is doable. And honestly, if you're really thinking about it every day, you should probably go for it. So remembering your why when things are really challenging. Next awesome thing, agendas. If you don't have an agenda, you should get an agenda. I have agendas broken down to like 15-minute intervals, and it's extremely helpful. So I won't I won't do this product advertising thing, but I will say that breaking things down even to that level, not to say that I do it all the time, but when it comes down to appointments or assignments or work or other things that need to be done, I think it really helps keep you in check. And having a certain amount of time in each day, which it's hard to find a balance, but I think it's really important, something that I'm constantly trying to work on. Finding time where you are just done for however long that is. Like, turn it off, walk away. And having some downtime for yourself and your family, and that is going to be a huge part of keeping the balance that you need to be able to get to the end. I've talked to people recently even who talk about setting, you know, certain days aside or certain times where this is like no interruption time, or you just no electronics, or you're just gonna go and it doesn't matter. So I think that's one thing, something that I've struggled with, because I really openly talk about a lot of my own struggles, but I think that's the beauty of it, because if you can just be open and honest, it really puts things into perspective for other people. It's criticism by other people. Like, you're going to get a lot of it, and everyone's going to tell you, maybe not everyone, but it seems that way a lot. A lot of people are going to tell you that you can't do it. And then the people who are on your side, sometimes they're few and far between. And when I say on your side, I mean like your cheerleader supporters, like, woohoo, we're behind your dream, blah, 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 blah. And being able to develop your own self-confidence on a high level that's a big task. But finding people that you really can connect with and lean on when you're needing that little extra support, like, just, you got this, girl, or whatever. So that's something else I'd like to do with this channel, is if there's other people who are looking to pursue anything really, or you just need, you know, a little push or drive or whatever, like, I would love to motivate each other and share different things. One of the cool things, I don't know if you know this if you're a student, Spotify, I believe, is one of them, where it's like ad-free music for students. You just type in your code for college. And then some other different things. RNs, if you're pursuing a different degree, higher education, a lot of different employers will offer to pay back some of your tuition for RNs. And then if you move on to become an NP or higher, I haven't looked too far into MDs yet, but there are different programs where they will pay back your education if you get that far. And I don't know how far back they will pay, but from what I understand, it can be quite a bit, depending state to state, program to program, employer to employer. So, with that being said, I will be posting hopefully a lot more videos. I think people just, you know, could use some positivity, and again, I've gotten a lot of different feedback on this channel, and I will be back. But hang in there, keep up, keep doing your dreams. All right, bye.